Hello students, here it is Monday and I am looking forward to your special occasion speeches. One has already arrived in the discussion board and I look forward to getting the rest of them. I will be using that 80-point speech evaluation form on them, and so you're getting a report from me about my opinion of your speech. Once they're all in, I'm going to ask each of you to write two things to everyone's speech but your own, and that is one sentence of praise for something that the speaker did well, and one sentence in which you identify something that they could have done better or that they might want to focus on. So we're now going to be moving on to informative speaking. So you have a chapter to read. It's chapter 15 on informative speaking. There's a link in there to the web-based version of it, or you can download the PDF version of it. There is a quiz on the informative speaking chapter. And then I want you to post to the discussion board by midnight on Wednesday the things that your audience does not know about your informative speech. So, and I gave a sample of what I would identify as my audience not knowing. If I gave it an informative speech on the rules for labeling wine, I identified several things that many people might not know about those rules. And then I've got two videos for you to view. One is one that was done in a face-to-face public speaking class here several years ago by a student named Julie Lako. And so she's doing a demonstration speech, which is a particular kind of informative speech. And so she uses some visual aids and she demonstrates how to do tie-dye. And the other one is by Robert Reich. He is a former Secretary of Labor. He is probably a professor at UC Berkeley. He's an economist. And what he's doing is explaining 7 principles of economics. And he does it using some visual aids, but they're pretty straightforward. So I want you to view those 2 videos. And then I'm going to tell you about a demonstration speech that my wife gave many years ago when she was finishing her degree at San Francisco State. She had to complete a course in public speaking, and she had been a competitive college swimmer. And so what she wanted to do was demonstrate to an audience of face-to-face students how you do the proper breathing if you're doing the crawl stroke. And so if you know anything about that, you know that it involves putting your face into the water and then lifting it out, and you take in a new breath and then you exhale your breath into the water. So the question might be, how could she do this demonstration speech in a face-to-face class? Well, she actually brought in a glass baking dish of water and put it up on a podium, and then she put on a bathing cap and goggles, which in any context outside of a swimming pool caused people to look rather ridiculous. And then she proceeded to dip her face into the baking pan of water and blowing bubbles into it, and then lifting her head out and taking a new breath. And so it was a very effective speech, but it relied heavily upon the attention-gaining device of humor. So she told me that the audience was just cracking up, but I expect that nobody will ever forget that speech. They might forget how to do the proper breathing for the crawl stroke, but they're not going to forget that speech. So I'll pack this up, and I'm looking forward to seeing the remainder of your special occasion speeches.